Okay, so we're going to go straight into it. We're going to go and cover the 90-degree method of reverse bay parking. Okay. So, imagine that we're going down the road. We're imagining going down the road, okay, or through the car park or whatever. And as we're coming in, we always want to be spotting a bay that's in front of us and mirror checking and signalling for that bay that is in front of us. When we're doing this one, we want to be more or less in the middle of the actual road, in between the bays on the left and on the right hand side. And we choose our bay. For me, this is the one where I've got a little drain grate just in the middle there. And then we think to ourselves, right, okay, so that's the middle of that one. Go towards the white line that's in front, and then go towards the middle of this next one, number 2. Go to the end of that white line, and then we're going to go to number 3 and go to the end of that white line, so that our shoulders are in line with the white line. At this point, bang it into reverse, okay? We don't necessarily need a signal on at this point, especially when we've got our reversing lights on. We only indicate for those people that are really around us. So, get everything nice and ready, get a bit of biting point, have a real good look around me, and as soon as I can start turning, I should do. It's always better to be too far forward from this point than too far backwards. We can always take some of the steering off if we need to. Hopefully you can see the side mirrors are pointing to each relevant mirror. So again, have a real good look around me, and as soon as I start moving, I'm going to put that full turn on. I have another good look over my right shoulder, especially at this point, and then I can look over back through the back window, and then look towards the left hand side mirror. We're doing it on the left hand side at this point, so we're doing it using the left mirror first. As soon as the side of my car starts to point towards that mirror, the white line, should I say, I'm thinking to myself, right, am I going to go over the end of that white line? Now, at this point, it looks like I am. So, again, this is why we want to always focus on being too far forward and too far backwards. We can always take some of the steering off. So if I start to look like I'm going to go over that white line, I can straighten the wheel off and just start going backwards again. And we're going to wait until the back wheel is more or less in line with the end of the white line itself. At that point, another good look around. Now, as you know, it's not doing this all in one. Especially when you're learning, you don't have to do it all in one. The better and better you're going to get, the more easy it is going to be just to do it all in one. But we're practicing, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Okay? And even on your test, you don't have to really worry too much about stopping and starting and making sure that you've got a good look around and making sure that you're going in the bay that you want to. If you notice there, I had a little bit of dry steering. No problems there neither. So all we're going to do is going to keep on going backwards again, making sure we're having that good look around and seeing whether or not we're coming into that bay there. White line's still on the left hand side of me, so we're still going into the bay that I want. At this point, I can start looking over to my right hand side and checking both sides of the car. We can see on this mirror here that we're well within the confines of that white line just there. So, having a good look around me, keeping that turning on, and thinking to myself, right, okay, I'm getting a little bit too close to that white line. I'm still in the confines of it. I can see that there. I've got a lot more space on this side. My back end's pointed towards that white line. So if I want to go a little bit further towards this side, because my back side is pointing towards that white line, just straighten the wheel off again, and we're just going to go backwards a little bit. And I mean a little bit, just go back a little bit more. And because now I know that that side's okay, I'm close to it, but I want to be concentrated on this side so I don't go too far over on this side. So as soon as I know that the back wheels I kind of get into the point where it's equal on both sides. I've got a little gap on that side, went from the side of my car to the white line. I've got a little gap on that side where the back end of the car is coming in nice and close to the white line. The side of the car, we can't really be sure at that point. We have to wait until it's straightened off to get a good picture. But we know on this side it's fine. So, have another good look around, and we can still go back a little bit more and then turn full lock again. And I mean, it's only a couple of inches. So now I know I can see, especially in my small circle mirror here, that the side of the car is rubbing on the white line, like it's kind of just scraping alongside it. If you add these mirrors, then they're great for this exercise. I can see on this side, again, I'm okay. I'm well within the confines of this bay. And now, obviously I don't want to hit this white line. I want to go towards this one. So I turn back towards that side. I'm going to look around me and I wait until, yeah, I'm looking okay on both sides. And then I wait until I'm more or less straight. Now, it's important to know and notice that we can kind of get a straight image of what's in front, but don't judge where you are and where the white lines are according to, for this bay that you're going into. We don't judge that using the white lines in front, because they're not necessarily correct and straight opposite each other. So I know I've got a good side on this side and I'm okay on this side. It's there. I just straighten the steering wheel off. Another good look around me, and now all I have to do is go backwards until I get near the back end of the bay. As long as I've got a white line on that side and a white line on that side, and I am in the middle from front to back, you're perfectly fine. Now I can use that rear view camera, but not all cars have that. So what do I want to use to make sure I'm in the middle of the bay either side? Sorry, from front to back. I can look down the middle of the bay and make sure that I feel like I'm sat in the middle. Or I can use the small circle mirrors. They show me where the back end of my car is. Or you play around with it. So what I'd suggest is that if you were doing this in your own car and you wanted to know for sure where you are, then you could reverse back a little bit, stop, open the door, have a check, right, and see and make sure where we are. And then we reverse back to a point where you feel comfortable enough. Then what you want to do is look at the curb or the white line that would be behind our vehicle, and you look over to the corner of this window and you gauge on the window where the curb or the white line would be. It's kind of like in the corner of the window, just above the corner of the window. If we go back to that point, we know that we're not going to hit the curb at that point. So this time we're going to do it on the right hand side, exactly the same thing. As we pull out, obviously looking both ways, it's important to note that if you had two cars either side of you when you're pulling out of this, you want to go forward so that you feel so that you obviously you don't want to be hitting the cars in front, but you don't want to be scraping the sides. So you go forward that little bit, make sure that at least half of the car is out and you are out, so that you, where you're sat, your shoulders are past the end of the bay, and then go out into the middle and just start turning. Again, you're going to be coming in to the middle of the bay. Now this is important to note that if you did this at the beginning of your test, they would ask you to drive out of the bay to the left or the right, and then make sure that the wheels were reasonably straight, so that you can then know that you're not going to go back straight into the bay that you originally came out of. So we're going to do it on the right, and mirror mirror, signal if we're necessary, and we're in the middle of the road, in the middle of the bays from the left to the right. We choose our bay, and we get, again, we think, right, this is our bay right here. It's the one with the grate in it. It's bay number 1. As we go forward, it's line number 1. Bay number 2. Line number 2. Bay number 3. And get in line with your shoulders in line with that third white line. If you're not too sure, as long as you know you're in line with a white line and you look back and you just count back 1, 2, 3 bays, then you should know where you're going to go into. But you always want to do this where you're doing it, you know, where you're going up to the bay and signalling before you get to the bay, and doing it where you go forwards. I mean, you wouldn't signal for a left turn right on top of it or as you were past it. So you'd want to do the same thing here. You'd signal beforehand for the bay that you can see in front, and then go those 3 past it. 3 lines past it. So again, concentrate on the right hand side this time, because we're going in the right hand side bay. We're going to be focusing to turn right. Good look around us again. Going backwards that little tiny bit, and just start steering to your right hand side. As you're going past again, back again. Another good look. It's important to note again, you don't have to really worry too much about your steering on this point. You can cross your hands, not a problem. You can steer one-handed if you wanted to, as long as you control this car nice and easily. Yeah. Another good look around. Again, nice and slow as you're doing this. All I've got is a little tiny bit of biting point, no gas at all. At this point, as long as your car can do it like that, it's fine. As we're coming in, we can see on this side, the side of the car looks like it's starting to go over the white line, in the big mirror anyway. Small one, I can see it's going okay. So I stop again, another good look around, and keep going just that little bit, see how it goes. So I can see now the back wheel side of the car is close to that white line. So I think to myself, right, how can I kind of know exactly where the side of the car is going? What I mean by that is, can I get a reference point for where I need the car to go? And it's simple. If I'm close to this side, the right hand side, on the right hand side bay, then what I want is to go towards this one. And just like before, and what I can do is I can wait until the side of the car, back side of the car, is pointed towards the end of the white line, where the white line meets what would be the curb, or the white line that runs behind the vehicle. As soon as I'm pointed towards that corner, I know that I've got a good angle, and I can just straighten my wheel off there. Again, don't worry about your drive steering. It's not going to make any real bother with, you know, in your test. Have another look around me. Stopped again. Again, just don't worry about stopping and starting. We don't have to do it just all in once. I cannot reiterate that enough. So just keep on going backwards. Keep on going backwards a bit at a time. We can stop, look, go back a little bit more again. But just make sure every single time you stop and look over your shoulder, look behind you. Keep on going backwards. Keep on going backwards, and make sure you are equal in both sides. As long as you are more or less equal both sides, it's fine. Okay, now, so we don't want to hit this white line because we're going towards it. Turn away from it. Again, another good look around me, knowing what's going on around me, and go away from that white line. Away from that white line, towards this one, and the front of the car's coming towards this side straight enough. I look reasonably straight. I can see that I'm reasonably straight in both my mirrors. Reasonably, okay? I might slightly be pointed a bit more towards that one, but it doesn't really matter too much. Go back a little bit more because I want to be perfect, really. But you don't have to be again. Once you're straight, straighten that wheel off. Another good look around you, and just go backwards to that reference point that we had earlier. And I know now that I'm within the bay from front to back and both sides. One thing to note is, as long as you are more or less within the confines of this bay, you will be fine. You might be over that side, and you might be really over that side, but as long as you're still touching paint, you're fine. You might be at an angle, so the front right hand side is touching the white line, or almost over the white line, and the back left hand side is almost over that side. Again, as long as all wheels are touching the paint, as long as the right hand side front's touching paint and the left hand side back's touching paint, it's fine. Okay, and I'll back that up later with a little bit of like technical knowledge from the guidance for driving examiners. But that's basically it for those ones. Make sure you fully control the car. Make sure you're constantly looking to see where you're going. Okay, it doesn't have to be a rush. Observations all the time. Okay, so now what we're going to do is going to do what's called the 45-degree method. So there's like 3 different ways you can do this. It doesn't matter how you do this in the actual bay park, as long as you are in full control and you make good effective observations. So all we're going to do for this one is we're going to be a lot more over towards the left hand side, right next to the bays that we want. Signal for the one that we want. And this is especially good if you are in a really busy car park area and you've not got a lot of room. So obviously we want to park where we are more or less opposite the middle of the bay on this one. And now, keeping it in first, we have a good look around and separate it like this. You don't have to do this all in one go. You don't have to go just up to it, zoom out to the right hand side. It's fine. You do it all, in little bits. Again, so we are opposite the white line. Sorry, the middle of the bay that we want. We have a good look around us. Okay, cancel the signal though if we put our left hand signal on, because we're now going out to the right hand side. And we now go away from the bay that we want. We'll look over our right shoulder again, nice and slow, like this. Again, you can stop start, not a problem. As we start going out, all we're going to do is, because we're focusing on the left hand side bay, we focus on the left hand side of the car, left hand white line, and wait until the side of the car starts to point towards the end of the white line that's closest to us. Just like there. At this point, straighten the wheel. Now, get it ready in reverse, biting point, have a good look around us. Make sure, it's really crucial on these ones, don't let the car roll forward. Okay? You don't want to show that you're out of control, but also if you let it roll, then you're going to screw up. So make sure, keep your foot on the foot brake if you need to. Alright, if you want to put your handbrake on, if that's your desired preference to getting these biting points, fine. But it's fine if you just put your handbrake on and just bring the clutch up to your biting point. Okay? We have a good look around again. Backwards looking around. And all we're going to do now is going to start to go backwards nice and slowly until the back end of our car looks like it's kind of in line with the white line. About there. Tighten it in. Again, it doesn't matter if you're too close to this side. It's preferential, because you can also always take some off. Keep looking at it. Right? Okay, so we're going to go off the white line. Now imagine if we did go off the white line. Even if there was a car there, you're not going to hit it at this point. So you're fine. If there's a car there, keep an eye on the car. Just don't let the side of their car or your car get too close to theirs. Straighten it off at this point. I know I'm going to go away from this white line now, because I'm not pointed towards it, I'm pointed towards this side. And I'm just having another good look around me again, getting a bit closer towards my right hand side this time, and away from the left hand side. Can I go back a little bit more? Yeah, probably. Get that biting point again, off the foot brakes, let it roll backwards a little bit more. There we go. Okay, nice and controlled. Have a good look around me. Putting that full turn back on to the left hand side again, because I'm going away from this side now. I'm pointing towards this side, I want to go away from it so I don't hit it. I'm going away from it. A lot of people get confused. Okay, where the back end, where the car wants to go, which way they need to steer. Just think to yourself, right, if I want to go away from this line, okay, then just steer away from it. Don't worry about the front end of the car, right? Don't worry about the back end of the car. Just think about the side of the car. Look at that. I was pointing towards that one. I wanted to go away from it, lean over that way, follow it with the steering wheel, like this. You know where you're going then. Am I in both sides? Yes, I'm in both sides. Am I reasonably straight? Yeah, I'm reasonably straight. Straighten the steering wheel. Looking backwards, going back, getting that reference point in my back window again. There. And that's it. So, now, I'm going to go over, do it on the right hand side again. This time I'm just going to come right out. Obviously I'm going to go into the base because I'm just going to swing it in. But I'm just going to get that reference. Now here in front of me I've got a curb on my right hand side, and I'm going to use that to kind of highlight a little bit more about where we're going. So again, mirrors on approach, signal if we needed to. There's nobody around here now. So I'm opposite the middle of the bay. I'm real close to it. We can see that in that side mirror if we're looking in. So we have another good look around. Again, if we'd signalled to the right, take your signal off before we start going over that way. So we're going to go over and away from it. Again, nice and gentle. Biting point first, releasing that foot brake. I'm waiting until the side of the car points towards that white line, or what would be the curb at this point. Wait until it goes. Yeah. Obviously now if I've got a curb in front of me, or what would be a car, obviously we've got to adjust for that. If you had a very narrow gap, you might want to go a bit further forward before starting to turn out and away from the bay, which will give you more room. So point towards the white line, or the curb in this case. As soon as we're pointed towards it more or less reasonably, then we straighten our wheel off. And when I say pointed towards it, I mean like pointed towards it but with a little gap in between. Have another good look around again. As I start going backwards, as soon as I know that my back end, the end of my car is starting to go past that white, basically past that white line, or in line with the white line, I can then start to turn. Another good look around me, nice and slow. Now, if we can see, we're coming in really nice to this, close to this curb. Especially the small circle mirror shows us that we're not going to actually hit it. There's still a small gap, but look again. We've gone back a little bit, almost touching it. Back a little bit more. Okay, we're really quite close to it now. But there's still a gap in between the curb and the car, or the white line and the car. I know now we're pointing towards that one, so I'm just going to straighten the wheel off. And now I'm going to start going towards that one, which is going to take me away from this side. I know now that the back end, I can see the back end is starting to go away from the white line again. Am I close to it on that side? Not enough. Alright, I could go closer to give me more room from this side. Go back in that straight line, another good look around me before I go backwards, and then turn back in. Am I still okay on this side? Yeah, I'm still alright on this side. Am I okay on this side? Yeah, I'm okay on this side. Am I straight? Yeah, reasonably. So I'll straighten the wheel off, look around me again, go backwards, nice and easy. Am I more or less reasonably halfway in the bay? Yeah, I'm more or less reasonably halfway in the bay. And that's that one. Now there's one final way of doing this, okay, and it makes it very, very easy, okay. So all we're going to do is good look around you, steer into on the bay in front, kind of like get straight, line it up with the bay behind me, have another good look around me, and just reverse in a straight line into that bay. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Okay, it does say in the examiner's guidance that you're allowed to do it like that. Yeah, so those are the three different ways of doing it. You've got the 90-degree method, you've got the 45-degree method, and you've got the drive into one and reverse back in a straight line back. Yeah, are there advantages and disadvantages to each one? Yeah, okay, there's no hard and fast rule. As long as, like I said, as long as you do this safely, nice and slowly, smoothly, okay, and you are observing all the time around you, that's all they're looking for. It doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be all the way in the bay. It can be too close to one side and too close, further away from the other. As long as both sides are in and your wheels are still touching paint, okay, and the majority of your vehicle is in that bay, you are fine. So let's look at, I've heard, like, some people say, oh well, you've been doing it all wrong, or you should do it this way, or you should do it that way. 45-degree method is best all the time, especially if you're in a rush. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Do it how you want to do it. It's as simple as that. So 45-degree method is really, really quite good if it's busy. It is good, okay, because you can. So you're in here. It's really busy. It's really tight. It's real compact. There's my bay. That's the one I want. I'm gonna just signal for it. Okay, pull up alongside it. Cancel the signal. Have a really good look around me. Swing it out, and nobody's confused about where I'm going, what my bay is or whatever. Yeah. So I'm pointing towards that bay, having a good look around me again, turning in towards it. Now, a lot of you might think it's difficult to go in between two cars, and it's not. It's probably easier, because it makes it real, and there's a lot more for you to see just than concentrating on the white lines. I notice there's a little kid behind us. This is why you want to be looking around you. Doesn't even matter if there is anybody around you. You want to be looking around to make sure that you can see in a real life situation. So at this point, again, just straightening it off a little bit. I seem a bit too close towards this white line. Coming in next to this one here. Getting close to that one. It's turning back in. Have a good look around me. I can use some mirrors and blind spots. Now, in a real life situation, I would always suggest, if you want to be closer to one side than the other, always be further away from the white line on your side, the driver's side, because you can always get in and out then. And if you had passengers, then they can wait to get in. You can pull out a little, get in, drive out, pull out, let them get back in again. Yeah. So we're going to go out again. Make sure at this point I'll be signalling to go out. Really nice and slow, really nice and easy. We're coming out. And I'm going to show you why it might be easier, better, to use the 90-degree method. Quick note, if you're reversing in a car park, doesn't matter if you were there first or whatever, yeah? Okay, you're the one reversing. If somebody's going straight and you go into them, it's your fault. That's what it's classed as anyway. So, imagine we were coming down here and I just turned around this corner, or say I was coming around this corner, yeah? I can't do a 45-degree method and go to where this little white car is here. There's two white cars, I'm talking about the one that's right next to it, yeah? So I couldn't do a 45-degree method here if I wanted to reverse into that. And some people like reversing into it. So this is the point where I would go past it and think, right, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Signal for it, obviously, and then go reverse into it. And that's why, and that's when you would use the 90-degree method more than anything, yeah? Something that you've already more or less gone past it. The one thing you have to be wary of is with the 90-degree method, okay, is that if you signal there, say like I want to go in this space, just after there's a white car and a grey car in space, I need to signal now. And I need people to be aware of what I'm doing. I'm going nice and slowly. I'm going to more or less come to an almost stop there with the signal on, and then go very slowly forward, so people behind know what I'm doing. Yeah. Good look around. Try to remember, get that handbrake, that get reversing straight away, so people can see those reverse lights. We're coming in really nice, really slow, really nice, really slow. Okay, so I've got this car to my left hand side, and you can see, look, I'm going to go over that white line. I don't really care at this point. I know that I'm not going to hit that car. But look around me again. Getting close to the car, straighten it off. Look around me again. Go back a little bit, so I know that my back wheel is more or less in line with that white line. And then turn away, back towards that side again. So concentrate on that side. I can see, look, I know I'm not going to hit that car. I'm going to look at this side. I haven't got room, I've got loads of room. Okay? I still got loads of room on this side. Nice and easy, like this. And now I'm pointing towards the more or less the end of the white line, just down here, where the white lines intersect, like it becomes a T. Straighten my wheel off there, having a good look around me. I know I'm alright on this side. I'm coming towards this one, nice and easy. And now I need to straighten up, I need to get the front end in. So I turn back towards this side again, away from this side, because I'm pointing towards this side. Go away from that side. Wait until we come straight. Straighten my wheel off. There's a vehicle behind, I concentrate on that more than anything. Yeah, and there we go. Okay, so a little bit of backup of some of the things that I have mentioned today. This is straight from the government website, okay, and it's from the DT1, which is the Driving Examiners Guidance for when they're conducting driving tests. So we're talking about the section 127, the manoeuvring exercises, the reverse parking exercise. Reverse park exercise can be conducted in either a parking bay in the driving test centre car park or on the road. Examiners have flexibility in making a choice of which manoeuvre to use, provided that each manoeuvre is used equally over a period of time. We'll talk about the reverse park at the start of the test in the car park. The size and layout of the car park may restrict the options available to the candidate. Examiners should allow the candidate to reverse into any bay of their choice, and no attempt should be made by the examiner to determine or dictate which bay is used or how the candidate carries out the exercise. So, like I say, all three different ones, whatever you want to use. At the start of the test, after the pre-brief, the candidate should be told that before going on the road, they are to carry out the exercise into a convenient bay. They should be asked to drive out of the bay to the left or the right if both options are available in that car park, and stop with the wheels straight before reversing into any convenient bay and parking the car. Examiners should not instruct candidates to park in the centre of the bay. The instructions is to prevent them reversing back into the bay on the same lock. Providing some attempt has been made to straighten the front wheels, examiners should not be concerned with if the wheels are completely straight. The candidate may elect to drive forward to adjust the angle at which they will address the bay they intend to reverse into, or space permitting. They are allowed to drive forwards into one bay before reversing back in a straight line into the opposing bay. Once the exercise is completed, the candidate can be given the instructions to follow the directions around the route. Reverse park at the end of the test car park. On the approach to the centre, the candidate should be advised to turn into the car park and reverse into a convenient bay to park the car. The candidate can again make their own choice of bay and carry out the manoeuvre in the way in which they choose, given the restrictions that may be imposed by the characteristics of the car park. Candidates should park within a bay, but examiners should not be too concerned when making their assessment of the final position of the car in the bay. Parking outside the bay is unacceptable. Candidates should not normally be penalised for crossing the lines when entering the bay. Examiners should consider whether the car could be reasonably left in the car park in the prevailing conditions. In that position, exceptionally, the examiner may feel the need to leave the car before making an assessment. This is acceptable provided the candidate is asked to secure the car and stop the engine. Irrespective of the presence of other vehicles or pedestrians, the candidate should be expected to take all-round observation to make sure the manoeuvre is executed safely. This question is not whether there's anybody there, but whether the candidate has taken adequate observations to ensure the safety is maintained throughout the exercise. Observation should be assessed as though the exercise was carried out on the road. At some driving test centres, to avoid congestion, it will be necessary for examiners to carry out the exercise at the start of the test, some at the end. The exercise may be completed in any empty marked bay, irrespective of whether the cars occupy the adjacent bays, provided these vehicles do not encroach on the bay to be used. Wording for the reverse park in the car park. At the beginning of the test, it says, will you pull forward either to the left or the right so that your wheels are straight, and then reverse into convenient parking bay, finish within one of the bays. At the end of the test, as they come into the test centre, it says, I should like you to reverse park in the car park, drive forward into the car park, then reverse into a convenient parking bay, finish within one of the bays. So, I do hope that helps. Like I said, the easiest thing is for you to take it slow, get lots of practice. Again, don't worry about stopping, starting, stopping, starting. Yeah? As long as you, like I said, as long as you're on the test, you're doing it in a reasonable amount of time, good control over the car, good observation, stopping if somebody comes around you, and it's you know, you're the one in the middle of the road, you're the one at hassle. You have to look out for other road users, pedestrians, etc. And don't forget that, you know, when you're travelling through the parking area, the car park, be observant, signal, stay on your side of the road. The amount of people you see coming around, just flying through the roundabout, and flying through the car park, they're not signalling, not staying on their side of the road, because everyone thinks it's like a one-way system or something. Be aware, stay on your side of the road, especially if you're coming up, and always make sure that you're following the road rules. If it's a giveaway, it's a giveaway. It still means it's a giveaway. Don't just think that you can just do anything you want in the middle of a car park and it doesn't matter. If you're coming up to a giveaway situation you can't see, like I did then at coming out of the car park, stop, edge forward, look, still a giveaway situation. Like I said, I hope that helps. Okay. Please like, share, subscribe, comment.